Welcome to HEA's Hypno Connect, the podcast by the Hypnosis Education Association. Real conversations, expert insights, and meaningful connection. Brought to you by HypnoBiz in a Box, the ultimate all-in-one hypnosis business platform. Let's get to it.
So I'll be honest with you right now. I think hypnosis is BS. Belief system. I don't know what y'all were thinking. It's all about belief system. We are working not as much with our belief system, although that plays a part in it. We are working with our clients' belief system. And in any persuasive conversation, you have to keep that in mind, or influential communication, you have to keep in mind you're dealing with the person you're talking to. You're dealing with their belief system. And if you want to make headway, you deal with the belief system they're already working with. Now, we can go at odds with the belief system. I've got clients who've said, oh, I'm not visual. You know what? I could spend half an hour challenging them on that and showing them how visual they really are. It's just underneath conscious awareness. But if they're thinking it or imagining it, they're visual. Why? Why do I want to butt up against that? If someone tells me I'm not visual, I'll say great. And I'm not going to use the word visualize as I'm working with them. I'm going to use the word think or imagine or pretend or make it up, because I'll use other words that don't bring up resistance. Why do I want resistance? I want to be flexible. So what I want to share with you today is a tracking tool. I am old school. And yes, there was a request for this to be digital. I wish I was that computer literate, but I'll show you. I use this piece of paper. It's in every folder, and I still have paper folders. And I'm very sure that Shawn and Melanie have a system in in the box, HypnoBiz in a Box. Sorry, I didn't mean to mess up the name. That will digitize this or make it a part of whatever so that it is digital. If you prefer to work that way, this is easy enough to do. Okay, you can work in your own style. And this is just a way of keeping track of the people you're working with. Now, when I first started in hypnosis, I'm a real believer. I left a flourishing radio career and became a hypnotist, a business owner. And I believe in going big or going home. So I didn't start small. I started with a giant center that employed 5 hypnotists along with my business partner and me. We needed to have our business full at all times. And we did. We were doing about $5,000 worth of advertising a month back in 2005. That was a lot of money. And we were bringing in lots of business. We had everybody busy. I worked from my business partner opened and she worked until the afternoon. I went in at 1 and worked till 8. Most days I saw 6 clients back to back to back to back. Most days. Now, my clients were signed back in those days. I'm not going to push that idea. I don't do that anymore. It was a thing that I was involved in that I'm not involved in anymore. But here's what happened. We had clients on 6-month or 1-year contracts. We saw them every week for 6 months or a year. That's a long commitment on their part and on ours. And when you're seeing that many clients, we had clients coming in every hour filling those rooms. When you see that many clients, sometimes they all run together. It's hard to remember, oh gosh, did this one like kittens or did this one like that or whatever it was for their metaphors? It's hard to keep it all straight. So thus, I created a tool that gave me an instant look at this client, what I already knew about the client. So when we sat down, rapport was already established because I'm already speaking their language. We're already talking and I'm not wasting any time now developing rapport or getting to know them. However, let me ask a question real quick. How many of you talk to your clients? Show of hands. Do you talk to them? Do you interview them for a while? Okay, is there anybody in here who just goes in and reads a script? Sit down, I know what your issue is. Now let me read the magic words to you. Great, because I have had trainers who actually tell their students, don't talk to the client. Their conscious mind doesn't know what's going on. All the work's in their subconscious mind. Well, let me disabuse you of that knowledge for just a moment. the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, the unconscious mind, the superconscious mind, however many terms you want to give to the whole thing, they are all working in tandem all the time for the sole purpose of protecting the client. The conscious mind, the subconscious mind, the unconscious mind, the operating system, all of it is designed to protect the client. Sometimes that protection mechanism goes askew, and that's why they need us. But all of those levels of the mind are there to protect them. Who the fuck hired you? Oh, excuse me. Maybe I'm not supposed to say that stuff in this group.
What? Oh my God.
Who hired you? Did the subconscious mind mysteriously ring your phone and talk to you on the phone? Did the subconscious mind do that? It may have led to this, but it was the conscious mind that called you, booked that appointment, and walked into the office. And so guess what? It's the conscious mind who's going to pay you too. Now, if I walked in and said to a boss, you got to leave, you can't watch me work, get out, how long am I going to be employed? So I don't try to get rid of the conscious mind. I want the conscious mind to participate. When the client leaves, I want the conscious mind to be on board with, wow, this was great, rather than out there thinking, I don't know if I was hypnotized, I don't know if I was this, I don't know if I was that. So I also play with the conscious mind. Now, I do eyes closed hypnosis. Not with every client, but with many clients at the end of their session, because that's their BS. That's what their belief system thinks they need. And so to give their conscious mind, the critical analytical thinker, something to hang our work on, I want them to leave my office going, wow, that hypnosis was amazing. So they will at least get often 5, 6, 10, 20 minutes at the end of the session with an eyes closed experience, so their conscious mind says, wow, that's what did it. Plus, I get an awful lot of my clients sent to me by psychiatrists and psychologists. They want one of their clients to quit smoking, so they send them to the hypnotist, or they want somebody to learn something different or to do a regression session, so they send them to the hypnotist. Well, I definitely don't want my clients going back to the person who referred them and say, oh, well, what happened? And they say, I don't know. We just sat there and talked like we talk here, but wow, I changed. That's not going to endear me to any psychologist or psychiatrist. So I want them to go back to their psychologist, psychiatrist, or doctor and have them say, what happened? What'd you do? I was hypnotized. And then they get to go, yes, hypnosis works. And I knew that I was referring you to the right person, because they've got something to hang it on. Now, let me also be honest with you. I believe that all of the change happens in that beginning part when we're talking, when we're conversating, because they have no idea that hypnosis is going on. So there's no resistance. Let's just have a conversation. Now, many of you know about fractionation. Dr. Flowers taught about fractionation, the eyes opening and closing to produce a trance state, right? And yes, that's a wonderful way to produce a trance state. Guess what? In conversation, when I ask a question, the client has to go inside their mind, come up with the answer, find the answer, come back out of their mind and tell it to me. I ask another question. They go back inside their mind, find the answer, come back out and tell it to me. 3, 4, 5 questions. We've got fractionation. And we have wide awake hypnosis. And the trance is going on, and they don't have any idea that hypnosis is happening. So what is there to resist? After the change is made, and I've got them telling me what they are going to do to affect this change, good, close your eyes, let's do some hypnosis now. And then it really doesn't matter what I say. Although I've got a tracking sheet that tells me exactly what to say. So let me share my screen. Enough of that BS, belief system. And let me share this with you really quick. There it is. Okay. So the first thing I want to share with you is this, because this is a place, whoops, there it is. Can you see this QR code? I'm not seeing it.
We see
Yeah,
it
we
just
see it.
fine. You're good.
Hypnosis session tracking, can you see that?
Yeah.
Sure do.
Okay, there you go. You can either go to karenhand.com/hypnosis-tracking, that will get you right to it, or you can take a picture, go with it, use your phone and go to the QR code. That will get you to the handout. That's the most efficient way I know to get you to the handout so that you can have it in front of you if you want it now, or so that you can download it later. Okay, that's a quick way to download the handout. I'm showing that to you now so that you'll have the handout in front of you as we're working, so it'll make a little bit more sense, even though I'm going to show it to you here on the screen.
Paste that in there.
Okay,
Here.
Type it in there.
what is that, Sean?
He's
Oh,
gonna put it in
I'm
the
gonna put it in the chats on Facebook.
on the live
good.
stream.
Okay, so we're done with this. Everybody's had this enough, right?
You're good.
Okay. So while you're doing the download, if that's what you're doing, let's just play one little tiny game, if you don't mind. So let me share again. I keep losing the share. There it is. Okay, can you see this little equation?
We can see this equation.
What we have here is 6 + 4 = 4. That equation's not right, is it? Can you tell that these are matches?
Yeah.
Okay, so the game here is to move just one match to correct the equation. Take a moment and work it out. Move just one match. I see that Ray is nodding. He's got it. Heidi, you got an answer? Don't share it yet. You got an answer? Jen, you got an answer? Okay. Keep playing.
I got it.
And if you're tired of me staring at you, Jen, just wave me off and we'll move on. Okay. Okay. So hold on to your answer for just a moment. Okay. And I'm going to ask Ray to share and what match did you move, Ray? Would you unmute and let us know? I'm sorry, you'll have to unmute. Can he unmute? Oh, yeah. He can. Okay.
Sorry. I moved the middle match in the 6 up to the empty spot to make it 0 + 4 = 4.
Yes, 0 + 4 = 4. And Heidi, did you get 0 + 4 = 4? Please unmute. Oh, you did. Is that a yes? Melanie?
Yes, I did.
Okay, Melanie, did you?
Got something different.
Please tell me what you got different. That's what I want to hear.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't unmuted.
We both did it. That's
So-
funny.
so-
We
We,
moved.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, take the plus sign, make it a minus, and move that
Right.
other match up to the 6 and making it 8. So it's 8 - 4 is 4.
that's what we did.
8 - 4 = 4. Yes.
Okay.
And is that Shawn who said that's what he did too?
Yeah.
Both Melanie and I did that. I wasn't even paying attention to what she's doing, but
You know, that's 2 answers. There's another one. 0 + 4 = 4. You can move, pointing and you can't see it. You can move this to here, make it 5 + 4 = 9.
Fun.
0 + 4 = 4. 5 + 4 = 9. Or 8 - 4 = 4. That will all make the equation more accurate, right? Or accurate. The purpose of this game is the moment you arrive at a conclusion, you stop thinking. You don't even stop to wonder if there could possibly be any other answers. And that is a horrible way to deal with a client. Because we know our answers. We live our lives. Unless you're a mind reader, and I am not, unless you're a mind reader, you don't know their answers. So you've come to a conclusion and stopped thinking. And then you say, well, here, let me suggest this. Like the person who comes in and says, I want to move more. And you go, oh, let's see. Okay, moving would be, I know exactly how to do that. And you make the suggestion. Here's what you do. In order to move more, to get more exercise, here's the thing to do. Take your walking or running shoes and put them right by the bed. And when you wake up in the morning, your feet go right into the shoes. You get up and you're dressed and you're doing your exercise before you ever even really wake up. And there you go, you're moving more. Now, that is one damn fine suggestion, is it not? Unless your client's got a new baby and they have to feed the baby before they go to work, or unless they don't like to exercise first thing in the morning, or unless they've got a condition, unless you know everything about your client's life, don't make a suggestion. You stopped at the conclusion that works for you. You've got to find out more information from your client. You've got to find out things from them like, well, when might you do that? Might you join a gym? Might you walk upstairs to the bathroom instead of using one on the same floor? There are all sorts of things that they might do. But when you jump to a conclusion and level a suggestion, you're not doing your client a favor. You're giving advice. And guess what? They can get advice from their mother, from their best friend, from their next door neighbor, from a complete stranger, and they can get that advice completely free. So don't be like a stranger. Learn your client. Read your client, know your client, and better than that, get your client to give you all the answers. Get your client to do their own analyzing and their own work, and then you've got change that lasts. So let's look at that form that I'm talking about and find out how you really learn about your client. Okay. What's coming up on my screen? It's not the same as coming up. There we go. Now, can you see the hypnotist tracking form?
We can.
Perfect.
Yes.
So the first thing, I don't necessarily do any of this in order. I make notes as I go, and we'll do a demo here in a moment, and I'll show you a little bit about this if there's time. But the first thing I want to pick up on, or one of the things that I want to pick up on about my client, is their communication style, their communication cues, their representational system. Most of us have a preferred representational system. We're either mostly visual, we're mostly auditory, we're mostly kinesthetic. Some people are mostly gustatory or mostly olfactory. I have only had one client since 2005 who was anything but visual, auditory, or kinesthetic, but he was very gustatory. He came to me to quit chewing tobacco. And as we talked about his habit of chewing tobacco, everything he said to me indicated a sense of taste. I know it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I don't know, it just doesn't, it's not like a crisp feeling, or it doesn't feel clean. He was telling me all of these kind of gustatory things, a sweet taste, things like that, that indicated, oh, I need to talk to him in those kinds of terms to really speak his language. It was a little more difficult than visual, auditory, or kinesthetic, I'll be honest with you. But I knew that about him, and so we had some instant rapport as I am using his language with him rather than my language. So I'm going to want to know if my client primarily is visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. I had a client just earlier today who almost every question I asked her, she said something about, it doesn't really feel right to me. I don't know, the feeling is deep inside of me. Well, I got about 3 or 4 feeling indicators. Let me try to grasp that. That's also a kinesthetic term. Let me try to grasp hold of that. And I put a big circle around the K. Okay, I've gathered some important information about this client, primarily kinesthetic. So and that's important because let's pretend for a moment that I'm working with a weight loss client. If a weight loss client is very kinesthetic, I'm not going to talk to them about the look of the scale or how they look in the mirror. The numbers on the scale or how they look in the mirror. Those are visual cues. So I'm going to ask them about how it feels to put on a pair of jeans and zip them straight up without having to tug. Or clothes fitting better. I'm going to use kinesthetic language to talk to them about what they want and what their change is going to be like. If they're very visual, I'm going to talk to them about and look in the mirror, notice. And as you pass a window, as you're window shopping and you catch yourself in the window, notice how great it makes you feel to notice the difference. So I'm going to use very visual language. And if they're auditory, I'm going to talk to them about notice the compliments that you're getting. Take those in when people say, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, you look so great. So I'm going to talk to them in auditory terms because that is their processing. That makes the processing easy for them. I'm in their head. Remember, I'm not asking them to come over and get in my head. They've hired me to get into theirs. So that's what I'm doing, is getting into their head and the way they're processing things. So one of the things I want to know is their communication styles or cues. I want to know if they're directly suggestible or inferred suggestible. Someone who's directly suggestible is going to do something that you tell them to do primarily. They will take a suggestion and act on it. It is the really directly suggestible somnambulists that when we do a recording, we put on that recording, don't listen to this while you're operating heavy machinery. Because if you've got a somnambulist listening to you and they're driving down the street and you say, close your eyes, they will. They'll take the direct suggestion. You want to avoid that, right? So directly suggestible, they'll take a direct suggestion. Many people... Was that a question? Oh, I heard somebody speak up. I thought I heard a question. Okay. So someone who is inferred is more of an options person. They don't necessarily want to be told directly what to do. You can ferret out an inferred person very quickly when you say something to them and they say, well, no, it's not exactly like that. Oh, well, no, I don't do it that way. Well, no, they're not really arguing with you. They're just correcting a lot of things along the way. That's a person who probably needs options and not a direct suggestion. So rather than saying, and you will exercise first thing every morning, even if that's what they told me they want to do, they didn't say they would, if they want to. So rather than saying exercise first thing every morning, I might say, and as you increase your exercise every day, maybe in the morning, maybe in the afternoon, maybe even in the evening, or all of the above, just throw out some options. An inferred processor wants to make their own decisions. Let them make their own decisions, but give them a bind, a double bind. Maybe you'll exercise in the morning, maybe at lunch, maybe in the evening as you add exercise to your routine daily. So they get to decide when to do it, but the direct suggestion is exercise daily. It's couched in inferred language. Is that making sense? Okay, so then I want to know direct or inferred. As soon as I get an indication, and we may go through several questions here before I get a clear indication, as soon as I get a clear indication, I'm going to circle that. So I will know next time I see this client. There it is right in front of me. I know they're kinesthetic. They're very inferred. Whoa, okay, I'll know exactly how to talk to them. Start from the very get-go. Now, I also want to know, so that we can effectively make change, I want to know their motivation style. We don't all share the same motivation style. So I want to know, are they moving toward a goal or moving away from pain? Those are two very distinct things. Moving away from pain is a very difficult way to make change, because when one gets a little bit away from the pain, they feel so much better, they stop. If you've got a weight loss client who is an away from pain client, they lose 5 pounds and they go out and have a pizza because they got 5 pounds away from their pain, right? So you'll know an away from pain person when you ask, what do you want? And they say things like, well, I don't want to be fat anymore. What do you want? Well, I don't want to. Well, I don't want to. Well, I'm not going to do this. Those are moving away from pain. They're telling you what they don't want, and that indicates that they're trying to get away from a pain point. It's much easier to make a change if you can move them in the direction of a goal-oriented processing. Sometimes with an away from pain client, it's very difficult to do that, but it can be done. Or you take their away from pain, 5 pounds, and then you have to double down and get 5 more, and then double down and get 5 more. I mean, they are telling you how to work with them. So somebody who is stuck and refusing to change their away from pain strategy, That's a person who may need incremental sessions often. That's their own doing. That's the way that they run their life. And you got to give that to them and just go with it the way it is. Somebody who's going for something can also be problematic. A weight loss client who says, I want to be this size for the wedding. Well, their leverage for change is right there in front of them all the time. I want to look like this around other people. I want to look good in the pictures. All of that kind of gets in the way or is a break state for the old trance of overeating or not moving or whatever the old trance was. The problem with that one is as soon as they get to their goal, their leverage is gone. So if you have a client who's going for a specific goal like that, it's a good indication to you that perhaps after the wedding, after the reunion, whatever it is, they come back in for another session on maintenance. That's a whole different game. Now we're maintaining what has occurred. We're not going in any direction. Does that make sense? It's giving you information. It's giving you information about how to manage your client's sessions. Moving them toward a goal is a good way to go. If I've got a client who's really moving away from pain, we might have to find anything that will help them move toward a goal, even if it's small and incremental, noticing their success, something along those lines. So I want to know if they're moving toward their goal or moving away from pain. Let me tell you at this point that this can change from week to week. As a client changes, these things can change. They can change from an away from pain person to a goal-oriented person. When they do, you just change your form. You just mark it. We've accomplished that, whatever it is. Are they internal or externally motivated? Some people are both. Some people will tell you very clearly who they are and what they are. An internal motivation is, I make my own rules. I know who I am. I know what I'm doing. An external person is, I'm always concerned about what they're going to think. I'm afraid of what my boss thinks. And in a moment, I'll give you some really easy ways of determining these by asking a few simple questions. But that's what you want to know. Are they internally motivated? Do they set their own parameters and boundaries? Or are they motivated by an external locus of control? If that's it, then you want to make sure that that external motivator is something that is controlled by the client. In other words, if they don't know if they've done anything wrong unless somebody tells them, buddy them up with somebody who's going to focus on their successes. Maybe you are their accountability partner who focuses on their successes. Internal and external are pretty important. Global or specific? Do they speak in specifics or do they speak globally? Let me veer off here with one of my pet peeves, and that is the word you. The word you is the second most comfortable word to the ear. Your name is the first one, and you is the second one. And so if you're referring to, you look really pretty today, that's taken. That's specific and taken. But many people will talk in a global sense using that word you. One client wanted help with eating less sugar. And so we were talking about, well, where is the sugar habit at? And he said, well, my secretary keeps a candy bowl on her dish and you can't walk past a candy bowl without taking something. That's the use of the word you that is problematic. You can't pass by a candy bowl. You can't pass a dessert table without sampling something. That use of the word you is globalizing, and it's a crazy mind game. It's a mind game your client is playing. Oh, you can't pass a candy dish, meaning everybody has this same problem. Nobody could surpass this problem. That's a mind game. That's giving control away. And so I call my clients out on it right there. With the dessert table guy. Well, you can't pass a dessert table. I said, man, I can. I don't even like dessert. That was a confusion technique. That kind of scrambled his belief system just with that. What do you mean? I can. I'm not a dessert person. Well, now he can no longer hold on to that belief that nobody can pass a dessert table without taking something. I am always moving my client in the direction of owning their responsibility, owning what they're doing. And when I get them to turn that around and say, I can't pass a dessert table without taking something. Wait a minute. Sure I can. Watch me. I'll look the other way. I'll run. I mean, they can come up with all sorts of ways to do it. But if they're playing mind games with themselves, letting themselves off the hook, I call my clients out on that every single time and make them responsible for their change. Do they need to hear something once or several times? Some people see something and they know it. I'll sometimes ask about a car. When you bought your last car, how many did you look at before you bought it? Some people will say, I saw it and I knew. I bought it right away. Some people will say, it took me 3 months. I drove every single thing out there. Well, the person who knows things right away, who makes snap decisions, they are pretty much a one-time person. Somebody who needs to do it over again or looks at it several times or takes more time to make a decision, those are good clients to give a recording to. Let me give this to you so that you can listen to it at home. They're going to need to listen to the suggestions several times in order for them to stick. Somebody who's a one and done, if you spend any extra time working on recordings for them, you're probably wasting your time with that client because they may not listen to them anyway. Okay? Independent or team player, do they make their own decisions? Or do they need feedback from somebody? Do they make their own decisions or do they need feedback? If they make their own decisions, if they're very independent, you want to help them understand what to look for so they can pat themselves on the back. If they are a team player and they need outside influence, you want to partner them up in some way with someone who's going to be a good success partner. Does all of that make sense? Are there any questions so far? If you have questions, I'd love for you to ask them now. And if not, I'd like to do a demo. So I
What
can't.
question would you ask for the independent versus team player? Or what kind of, how would you get that out of them?
For the independent or team player?
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right. Let me do the demo and show you.
Sure.
Who's asking me that?
That was Melanie. Yeah.
Oh, Melanie, I'm sorry.
I somehow turned off my video. I don't even know.
That's my goodness.
Sorry, hon. I didn't even know I'd done it. It's just fun.
Who would be willing to play with me for a moment? I'm gonna close this. I'll bring it back in a second, but I'd love to do a demo with somebody to show you how
Just
this.
raise your hand if you know how to use the.
All right,
reaction.
Heidi.
Got Heidi.
Okay.
Your hand is
Yeah,
up.
Heidi.
Heidi,
Karen, I really like you, and I'm so glad I get to talk to you.
I really
Just-
like you too. You're my favorite person on the call now.
Can you adjust your camera just a little bit because you're like getting cut off right at your perfect.
There you
Hey,
go.
Okay.
awesome.
Great,
Lovely to
thanks.
see you, Heidi.
So Heidi, do you have a simple thing that we can change? We don't have time right now to correct everything that mom did to you, but if you have a simple thing.
I was just thinking, I feel like, you just can't change your language overnight. Like I want to be able to make
Wait a minute.
this
Let me ask you.
make
Now
this
watch.
easier.
Watch, I interrupt. So wait a minute.
Yeah.
You can't change your language? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that sort of idea. Like that's kind of the subconscious stuff
Let me
that
just
goes
point
on.
out to you, Heidi, that is a mind game.
Mhm.
You are globalizing an issue and making it a bigger issue than it really is. Please say
Okay.
that to me another time and say I.
Okay.
Use the word I instead of you.
So I find it challenging to sometimes clue into this and come back with the right retorts.
Okay, so isn't it interesting that when you took it out of a global context and you owned it, you made it your responsibility, it wasn't I can't or you can't, it was I find it challenging.
Yeah.
You softened it already.
Right.
So
Yeah.
tell me again, I find it, say the whole thing, I find what challenging?
I sometimes find it challenging to pick out those terms from a conversation and respond with the right words, but I desperately want to.
Okay. So That's two things, picking
Yeah.
out the right thing and responding appropriately,
Right.
right? So which one's the most problematic for you? Picking out the right words or responding? So, because if you have the right words, you probably know how to respond.
That's
If you
true. Maybe it's more about that. I think maybe I'm more of a kinesthetic person, so I tend to focus on how a person's feeling instead of the actual words. Maybe that's what's going on. Yeah.
Okay. And then you can really look and read their feelings too, I'll bet, because I'll bet you're really good at that if you're very kinesthetic, right?
Yeah.
But let's practice the listening. Let's see how easy the listening can be for just a moment. Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just ask you a couple of really weird questions. Would
Okay.
that be all right? And this
Yeah.
isn't about your change. This isn't about anything else. This is just a really weird question. When you have a job, when you do a job, any kind of job, what has to be in that job for you to really enjoy it?
Oh, it has to be in that job to really enjoy it. I think connection, being connected to the people around me.
Yep. And is there anything else that you need in a job for it to be pleasant for you?
I need a job. I like to have independence
Tell me about
and be on a team.
okay, tell me about you like to be independent and on a team. Tell me about that.
So independent meaning I like to be able to know I have a mission and I'm completing it without having to walk around other people all the time. I want
Okay.
to be able to get there and get it done.
Okay, good.
And yet I like to be able to work with other people because I recognize that it just makes work easier, and it also I love working in a team where you almost don't even have to talk, where you don't even have to talk, you just know you need what you need to get done and you get it done. Or with talking, it just happens instantly. You can have a 5-minute conversation and you both walk away knowing what you need to do.
Great. How do you know you've done a good job, Heidi? At anything.
How on anything. I look at the outcome.
Okay. And how do you know the outcome is successful?
It depends on, I mean, if the person, like with hypnosis, if the person, I can usually tell from the look on their face when they're coming out of it, or they'll go, gosh, even just having conversations like you were talking about, where I'm asking questions and then we do a little NLP thing and they're like, yeah, I can't even think the other way anymore. That sort of comment.
Yeah, that
Or
kind of feedback.
the job that it's the goal is completed, in another type of situation. Yeah.
Right. Got it. So when you see the completed project,
Yep.
as an example,
Yeah.
in friendship, what has to be there for it to be good for you?
I think connection, and it's almost like a spiritual connection where you can have different viewpoints, but at the same time there's a connection there. It's just a knowing, I think, is I'll meet some people and I'll be like, yeah, you don't know it yet, but you're going to be my friend.
It sounds like you're very intuitive.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. What are your hobbies?
Oh, right now, hypnosis. No, I have my own little office, as you can see, but I'm not at the point where I can do it full time. So I have a side job, but
what draws you to hypnosis?
It's everything to me. I love it. The opportunity to be there with somebody. I mean, like you said, I love it so much I'll do it for free. Well, I kind of am, because I'm basically working for my business expenses, but I don't care because I love it. And I can't imagine my life being any other way except having hypnosis and being a hypnotist in my life. So I'm willing to go work at Amazon for long, crazy night shifts in order to be able to do this.
Got it. Got it. You're willing to work hard for what you love. I got it.
Yes.
What's the most
Yes.
relaxing place you can think of?
Oh, I love being in the forest. And I live and I work in Gresham. And there's this, it's at the foot of Mount Hood. And so there's beautiful trails just 5 minutes from here where I like to go run or just take a long hike or that sort of thing. So that's really my happy place. Yeah.
And so, Heidi, would it be fair to say that what you really want is a skill set or an ability to listen to the words so that you'll know exactly what to say to turn it around to help a client, to connect it all
Yes.
together so that it will become the change that they want to make?
Yes,
Is that fair to say?
that is fair. Beyond fair.
Close your eyes for a moment. If you don't mind, close your
Okay.
eyes for a moment. Just take
Sure.
in a nice deep breath. And you can begin to relax as you exhale. And since hypnosis is your hobby, I'm guessing that you already know how to take yourself to the place that you most need to be right now. That's right. Just go ahead and feel it. Feel yourself relaxing into that connection between mind and body, seeing and feeling, and allowing those connections to first feel it right in your soul, almost on a spiritual level, connecting to the sounds that you hear and intuitively listening carefully, because that is your cue. That is your call to success. Imagine for a moment that you can really zero in on something in a forest. Boy, I don't know what you would really focus in on. I don't know if it would be a tree or a twig or leaves but you know, Heidi, when you find one thing in that forest that you can focus on, just nod your head so that I know. And as you focus on that, notice more of those around the forest. And if that's the only one, you'll know that too. When you found as many or the one as you can, let me know with a nod of the head. Now imagine gathering all of those very specific things up and putting them, I don't know if it's in a bag or if it's in a pile or if it's in the palm of your hand or if it's just someplace connected to you. Is there any way to forget what that thing is? No,
No.
you've got it, don't you? And if I ask you to give it back to me, you could you not?
Sure. Yeah.
Give it to me now. Describe it to me. Tell me about it. Help me feel what you found there in the forest.
The sound of the birds in the trees and the wind gently rustling the trees as I'm walking around. Yeah. And seeing the green all around me.
Notice, if you will, that you were surrounded by forest. You were surrounded by wildlife, surrounded by all sorts of things, air and sunlight and darkness or whatever it was. And you were able to focus on just those specific things that made you feel so connected, so alive. And once you gathered them, you were able to tell me all about it, were you not? So that I could feel it too.
Yeah, of course.
Imagine for a moment that your client, any client in front of you, is just like that forest. And there are lots of things about the client. There's the client's hair and the client's legs and the client's body and the client's size and the client's smell and the client's sound of their voice. But as you decide now to focus in on the words they're telling you that are value words, that are important words to them, you can make that connection now to what you hear them valuing as you understand it intuitively, Heidi, because you are connected to your client. The road to helping your client change is zeroing in, just like you did in that forest, on those words, their values. They're letting you in spiritually. so that you can help them change a feeling, change a mood, change a thought, change an old limiting belief. When you gather up that information, it's yours. You have it in a pile or in a stack or deep inside. Now I wonder, can you use that information that you have gathered because you focused, because you paid attention, because you made the decision to focus in on the sounds and the wildlife and forget all of the rest? How is that working for you as you imagine that now?
I'm feeling more confident.
And tell me about that feeling of confidence. Where is that feeling of confidence? As you smile there and take it in, I know it's growing.
The feeling of confidence is definitely in my heart center, and but it's also in my mind. Like, my mind is not giving me the other messages of, oh, you never do it right, or you don't listen. And I finally got that to go away. So that
Connect,
helped.
connect your mind and your heart. Connect
Yeah.
your mind and your heart. Feel now throughout your entire body, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, that connection of mind, body, and spirit. And now go ahead and imagine yourself connecting to the client there in your office in that same way, mind, body, and spirit. It's that connection, because you know, Heidi, you are independently paying attention to what needs to happen for a change and working as a team with your client to affect that change, operating independently for the good of the team. Mind, body, and spirit. When you feel the connection deep in your heart, own it. Make it yours. Believe. Trust in yourself. Take all the time that you need with that. And when you're ready, bring that trusted connection back with you, right here into the room.
Yeah. It's good. It feels good. It feels like who I've always been. It feels
And that
connected.
does
Yeah.
feel really good, does it not?
Yeah, it does. It does. It's a feeling of, let's go.
Yes, you've got it.
Yeah,
Do you mind, Heidi, if we pick that apart for just a moment?
I'd be happy to.
Okay. So on the sheet that you have, the
Okay.
hypnotist
Yep.
tracking form, okay?
Uh-huh.
I went through the first set of little questions, asking easily, what do you want? You told me. How will you know you've got it? Things like that. What do you need for that? I didn't go completely into those questions because we didn't have a lot of time here, but that's all, those are all things that you can gather, okay? We went just to the bottom of the form to your personal trance words.
Yeah, you're right.
And
What you
I
need a
said,
job, a good job. Yeah.
so the only
Yeah.
thing I knew when we started was that you wanted you wanted to be able to hear your client's words so that you could give them the proper suggestion. Is that right?
Right. Exactly.
You also
Yes.
know that you're intuitive. I asked you, what do you need in a job? And you said connection. I wrote it down. If you got it digitally, you can type it in. You said
Okay.
connection. So I don't know. I've got to be honest with you, Heidi. I'm not sure about the whole story that you told me there. I heard the word connection.
Uh-huh.
I heard the word, I said, so I didn't just stop it there. I said, is there anything else that makes you, that you need in a job for it to be great? And you said, I want to know I have a mission. Now, I didn't happen to use have a mission here, but I could have. I'm really kind of beating myself up at the moment for not using it because it would have been great. And when you're with a client, you know you have a mission to help
Yeah.
them make their change. Okay, so there's just
Yeah.
another piece of your words that I could have used. You talked about teamwork. And you talked about get it done. That would have been another great one to use that I didn't.
Uh-huh.
You don't have to use everything and it still works. Okay. I could have
Yeah.
used, and then you'll know as you're listening carefully and feeding back to them their values, you can get it done successfully because of the connection you created. Notice I'm just stringing your words together.
Mhm.
Is that making
Yeah, I
sense?
noticed that. It's because, when you're a hypnotist, you're like halfway wanting to, you're like, oh, that was a good one. Oh, that was a good one. Oh, I got to remember that one.
Yes. So yes, you're already doing it. What you just
Yeah.
told me, Heidi, is that you're
Right.
already doing this. You're going, yes, yes. Just write those words down. You
Yeah.
don't have to remember their story. You have to remember the things that resonate in their mind. That's the information you're gathering. Okay. So I said, how do you know you've done a good job? Oh, from the connection, I also circled on that form team player, just because
Uh-huh.
you're so hardcore in connection. And boy, did
Yeah.
you confuse me when you said you wanted to be independent.
Well, I'm a Pisces. I like to have both, and so,
It's
I mean,
okay.
yeah.
I'm confused a lot. It doesn't matter. I can be confused. I had to find a way to put that together for you because those are your words, right? I don't have to be a genius. I just have to be able to string your genius together and get it back.
Right, exactly.
Okay. You said you like to look at the outcome. You need evidence. So I would circle then that you are externally an external locus of control. Because while you do know inside of you, you said there is a knowing, you also are telling me that you need to see evidence, you need to see the completed project, you need
Ah, that's
feedback
right.
from somebody. So I can talk to you about, okay, getting that feedback, getting that information, knowing. Does that make
Great.
sense?
Yep. Yeah.
In connection, again, in friendship, what do you need in a friendship? Connection. It's spiritual, it's knowing. So I took you to a place where I didn't take you any place. I threw out some words at you. You took yourself to the place where you did your own healing. But the words I was adding to your trance state was stuff like, and you can make this connection. You know that you can take the words you're hearing, put it in your mind, connect it together, and bring it back out. I don't even remember exactly what I said, but it was something to that effect. And you had this spiritual level of knowing. You resonated with that. That beefed up your confidence, as it turns out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ask about your hobbies just because we may use that as some kind of metaphor for relaxation or whatever. You said it's everything, so I wanted to bring that into it. And your most
Yeah,
relaxing
with a universal word. Yeah, you're right. Okay. That's
and
yeah.
the most relaxing place was the forest. So what I know about you in the tracking form is that you're kinesthetic. I'm always going to talk to you about feelings.
Uh-huh.
You're a little inferred. You make up your own, you're independent and yet you like the teamwork and so, okay, I'm just going to give you options. Screw it. I'm not going to try to lose anything. I'm just going to give you options, right?
Okay.
You're going toward a goal and yet there's some reservations. So we just wanted to cross you across that border.
Mhm.
The only thing I knew from you in about 10 minutes was what you wanted to do. I asked some value words that you used, and I used your words back in telling you what you wanted. That was the
Yes.
entire process.
It was fabulous. And I'm so pleased I got to work with you.
I'm pleased I got to work with you too.
I have a couple of your books. I really, really enjoy your approach.
Oh, thanks for the prompt.
There you go. I have
Oh,
magic
yeah.
words and language patterns, and I think I have the other one. I think I have both of them. My hypnosis instructor is Lainey Coulter, who said, I just really love her. So she really guided me to you. So yeah.
Oh, Lainey is a dear friend of mine. Yes, I love her too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Heidi, does that make sense to you? Now you experienced it, you were learning it from the inside out. So do you know what words I was gathering from you?
Yes, I do know it was interesting to see how you put it all together in a picture that I probably wouldn't have considered but I just went just straight from the subconscious. I didn't have to think about it. So I knew it was the right answers, but it's so
You were
interesting.
already in trance because
Yeah.
it seemed like hypnosis was going on. I was just asking you questions and you just
Yeah.
gave me your answers. And I just want to know what words are core to you.
What words in general are core to me? Is that what you?
That's what I was learning. Connection,
Right. Exactly. Okay.
a mission, and
Yeah.
then with just that little piece of information, feed that back to you, and you did all of your own work. You didn't even tell me you needed confidence, but boy, am I a genius for giving it to you.
It's true. You are a genius.
I just want to point out, you
Yeah.
are a genius. And here's
Aw.
the way I deal with every client. Every client I have is a genius. They are a genius of their own mind, their own thoughts, their own feelings. I trust my clients to know their magic.
Oh, I love it. Do you do this for helping people quit smoking as well?
I do something a little different with help with quitting smoking, but
Okay.
but I always start with these outcome questions. What do you want to change? What evidence will you have for the change? What resources do you have to make the change? Do you need any more resources? These are the first set of questions. Is there anything limiting you? And what are the benefits you're going to get out of doing this? I didn't ask all of those specific questions. I got all of those specific answers as we were having a conversation about something entirely different. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Does
Yeah,
ev-
yeah. And you couldn't even tell it was like an interview. It was more like, hey, what about this? And what about that? And yeah, it was great.
It was just a conversation. So you were just, and if somebody gives you a funny look, like, why do you want to? I don't know. It's just a weird question. I ask them sometimes. Just go with it for a second, would you?
Getting to know you. It's important that we connect.
Yeah, we're just playing games. And yes, if I'd have heard the connection, yeah, it's just important that we connect. It's like your word.
I love
So
it. Yeah.
that is how I use this tool. I'm gathering what kind of person you are, how you process information. And then as we talk about it, I gather a few more words, find out what you want, and then turn all of that into a script. It writes itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jen, did you have a question?
Yes, so you got this information and they've had a very lovely first session or second session. When they come back, I would say probably first session, and then they come back, how do you then use this information? Because they might have changed since they were here last, or yeah, what comes after with this form? Do you keep
Okay,
adding?
so if she were to come back, I'm guessing that you got everything you need and don't need to come back, right? Okay, I no longer sign people to long programs, nor do I do usually more than a session or two, unless it's for something like weight loss or something that needs coaching as opposed to hypnosis. If it is a change and my client wants to make a change, we can usually make a change in a session. Because all I want to know is what they're doing now, how they're running their trance now, and then almost anything else will give them a different result. Almost anything different will give them a result. So to answer your question, Jen, if she were to be a weight loss client or a client that would have several sessions, when she comes in the next time, I will already know that she's kinesthetic because it's on my sheet. So I don't have to, I will already be talking to her in feeling terms. I will already know if she's direct or inferred. So if she's inferred, I will know not to say, oh, sit over here. I'll say, hey, do you want to sit there? Or do you want to sit there? Do you want to sit in the change chair? I only work on Zoom now, so I don't have to ask them about chairs. But in-person work, I would do that. I would give them those kinds of options. I would know if they're going directly for something or if they're moving away from pain. So if they're moving, because it's here, toward or away, if away is circled, I need to find out instantly, immediately, how far they've come, where are they now, and where they're going from here. I mean, how they're feeling about it now. I'm successful, or it was really hard. I want to know where that is. Does that make sense? If they're away from pain. If they're going toward a goal, I know what goal they're going toward. I know that it's the reunion or it's whatever that is. If it's internal or external, I'll know that so that I can work on how we can beef up their own intuition, or how they're going to get some kind of external cues or interpret the external cues that come in. Sometimes, if they're really externally located, that's a whole session in working on how you manage external cues, what you listen to, what you don't listen to. So this informs me in other things that we sometimes have to work on that are not directly related to the issue. if somebody can't move forward because nobody's telling them they're any good, we have to work on a different way of determining their worth. Does that make sense? That can be a whole session on how they determine their worth. And that may have to be changed. I will know if she's, I know that she, because the first thing she said was, so I know that she's this global thinker. So I'm going to constantly be watching for that, right? Once or several times I didn't get from Heidi this time, whether she just needs it once or she needs it several times, that's all right. I can pick it up next time, or it's not important. But I already know here what she wants, what she needs. And the most important part of the form completely is the very bottom, where I now, if I ever see Heidi again in life, know to use the word connection with her. Because that's a very important thing. Does that make sense? Those are her value words. Those are words that come from the subconscious. Her conscious mind didn't make any of that up. The conscious mind monitors the subject and the verb of a sentence. The subconscious mind monitors everything else. Gestures, all of the surrounding words, all of the tone, everything else. The conscious mind only monitors the verb and the subject. The conscious mind wants to know what we're talking about, where we're going with it. And once you get beyond that, everything else is processed by the subconscious mind, processed underneath, behind the scenes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on HEA's Hypno Connect, the podcast by the Hypnosis Education Association, a not-for-profit organization serving the hypnosis community since 1998. Proudly sponsored by Hypno Biz in a Box, the all-in-one platform for building a thriving hypnosis practice without burnout. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow, leave a review, and share it with a fellow hypnotist. Ready to grow with a supportive educational community? Join the HEA today and help us spread the word about the nature, uses, and benefits of hypnosis. Visit us at hypnosiseducationassociation.com. And if you're looking to get started, streamline, or scale your hypnosis business, head on over to hypnobizinabox.com, where you'll attract steady clients, generate reliable income, and be supported by a community of like-minded hypnosis professionals. Until next time, find a hypno buddy, stay inspired, and stay connected to HEA's Hypno Connect.